Thank you so much for that reception. What an amazing reception. We did it. You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
Labour are likely to lose a substantial number of seats.
Labour is defending about 2,500 local council seats in England and is the incumbent government in Wales, but is bracing for heavy losses across the country in this election. That would be very bad news for Keir Starmer, whose personal approval ratings as well as his government's approval ratings have been in the doldrums for months. That's due to a range of factors, including a sluggish economy and a series of policy U-turns and miscalculations that have raised questions about his political judgment. Among these is his decision, which backfired, to appoint Peter Mandelson, a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, as Britain's ambassador to Washington at the start of Donald Trump's second term. A very bad result for Labour in these elections could trigger a move by his own Labour Party to oust him and replace him with another leader.
These elections in England, Scotland and Wales, they feel important because the Labour government that's been in power for nearly 2 years is very unpopular, and that sort of 2-year time span makes them feel a bit like midterms. They are in effect what sort of midterm elections, first ones for Keir Starmer and his Labour Party, and for that reason, and Starmer's own future is under question, it makes them very, very important indeed.
Millions of people across Britain are going to polling stations to cast ballots in a set of elections for more than 100 local councils across England and for semi-autonomous parliaments in Wales and Scotland. This is the biggest set of elections since Prime Minister Keir Starmer swept to power in a landslide in July 2024. And opposition parties are painting these votes as an unofficial referendum on Starmer and his Labour Party centre-left government.
What's happening, what's important about this is the fact that Labour are likely to lose a substantial number of seats and the opposition Conservatives will lose seats at the same time, and two new parties, or relatively new parties in terms of out on the stage in the big time, so that's the Greens on the left and Reform on the right, they both look as if they're going to make substantial numbers of gains. So along with the Liberal Democrats, the centrist party, Britain is moving from being, certainly in England, a 3-party, 2.5-party system to something more like a 5-party one, and in Wales and Scotland, a 6-party one. That's why this all matters.
If Labour is likely to be the big loser in these elections, the big winners are expected to be what have been called the insurgent parties. There's Reform UK, the hard-right party led by Nigel Farage, and the Green Party, which has expanded from its environmentalist base to become what's been called an eco-populist party under its young leader, Zach Polanski. Political experts say these elections may mark a major milestone in Britain's shift from a 2-party system, dominated by Labour and the Conservatives, to a much more multi-party and even chaotic form of politics.
Every single Green vote is a vote across the country and the North East to reject the old party politics of the Labour Party and the Conservative Party.
And Keir Starmer is obviously in trouble, but I think it is still the case that his parliamentary party are unsure as to whether now is the right time to unseat him. We have this geopolitical uncertainty, obviously, which to some extent has played to his strengths, I think. It's also the case that one of the candidates who they might hope to be in any leadership contest is currently not in Parliament and therefore wouldn't be able to stand. That's Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester. And I'm not sure that there's enough enthusiasm for the other front runners to make MPs entirely confident that replacing Starmer would actually help the Labour Party in the polls. So there might be a stay of execution. I do think, however, that when people say that for Keir Starmer it's a case of when rather than if he goes, are probably right.
And therefore it's really important that I reiterate where I stand and where this government stands. Because this is not our war. and we are not going to be dragged into it.